That's what failure looks like on 4 wheels. My daughter, everyone, can't even lease something decent. My dad said that, out loud, in our driveway, at a family barbecue with 20 people standing around holding paper plates and plastic cups. He was pointing at my car, my beat-up sedan with the dented bumper and the crack in the windshield I kept meaning to fix. Everyone laughed. My younger brother smirked behind his beer. My mom looked down at her feet. A couple of cousins whispered to each other. I stood there with my keys in one hand and a plate of potato salad in the other, frozen. I didn't cry. I didn't argue. But something inside me snapped. That was the moment I decided he'd eat every word. My name is Sophia Mitchell. I'm 26 years old. And for most of my life, I was invisible to my own father. I work as a junior graphic designer at a mid-sized marketing firm. Nothing flashy, nothing loud, just steady, reliable, creative. I grew up in a family that valued what they called traditional success, corporate jobs, prestigious titles, expensive things you could show off at dinner parties. My younger brother? He fit the mold perfectly. He works in finance, wears tailored suits, drives a BMW that Dad helped him lease. The kind of guy who posts LinkedIn updates about grinding and building legacy. Me? I chose art, design, freelance gigs on the side that I'd work on after my 9 to 5. Dad called it a hobby, not a career, a hobby. At family events, he'd introduce my brother with this proud smile. This is my son. Works at a top investment firm, going places. Then he'd get to me. And this is Sophia. She does computer stuff. I wanted his respect more than anything. I really did. I'd show him my portfolio, my client wins, my raises at work. He'd nod, flip through a page or two, hand it back. When are you going to get serious about life, Soph? That's what he'd say, every time. I wasn't rich. I didn't have a fancy car or a corner office, but I had something they didn't expect. Patience, discipline, and a plan. I quietly saved, started a side design business, built a client base one project at a time, lived below my means while my brother burned through money trying to impress people he barely knew. If you've ever been pushed aside by family, subscribe right now and tell me where you're watching from. I want to hear your story. 2 months before the barbecue, Dad hosted a family dinner. Not just any dinner, a celebration. For my brother's promotion, the whole family showed up. Aunts, uncles, cousins, a few family friends Dad wanted to impress. Mom made her famous roast. The dining room table was packed. Halfway through the meal, Dad stood up, cleared his throat, raised his glass. I want to make a toast, he said. Everyone went quiet. To my son, Dad continued, a young man with real drive, real ambition, a real career. He smiled at my brother. My brother grinned back. You're proof that hard work pays off, Dad said. Proud of you, kid. They clinked glasses. Everyone clapped. I was sitting right there, 3 feet away. No one said my name. Later, over dessert, one of my uncles leaned toward me. So, Sophia, he said, what have you been up to? I opened my mouth to answer. Dad cut me off. Oh, Sophia's still doing her little computer drawings? He said with a wave of his hand. We're hoping she grows out of it. The table laughed. My face burned. My brother leaned back in his chair, grinning. At least someone in the family has to be the cautionary tale, right? More laughter. Mom said nothing, just sipped her wine. I excused myself, told them I needed the bathroom. I sat on the edge of the tub with the door locked, shaking. My phone buzzed. An email notification. I opened it. A client I'd been talking to for weeks had just signed a contract. A full brand redesign package. $15,000. One of my biggest wins yet. I stared at the screen, then at my reflection in the mirror. They have no idea what I'm building, I thought. And maybe they don't deserve to know. I went back to the table, sat down, smiled politely, let them laugh. But inside, the switch had flipped. A week later, I was at my parents' house dropping off some mail that got sent to my old address. I overheard my mom and brother talking in the kitchen. "So Friday morning?" my brother said. "Yeah," Mom replied. "Your dad's excited, it'll be nice to get away." I walked in. "Get away where?" They both looked up. "Oh," Mom said, "we're doing a weekend trip, just up to the cabin." "That sounds fun," I said. "What time are we leaving?" Mom hesitated. My brother didn't even look up from his phone. "We figured you'd be busy with your freelance stuff anyway. You always are." "I'm part of this family," I said. "Don't make it dramatic, Sophia," Dad called from the living room. "It's just a trip." Mom gave me this apologetic look, but she didn't invite me. They left Friday morning, without me. I spent the weekend working, landed 2 more clients, then came the barbecue, the driveway, the insult. Dad stood there in his grilling apron, spatula in hand, pointing at my car like it was evidence in a trial. "That's what failure looks like on 4 wheels." My brother walked over laughing. "I keep telling her, image matters, but she'd rather be authentic." He used air quotes. One of my cousins chimed in. "At least she's consistent, consistently broke." Everyone laughed again. One of Dad's friends, trying to be nice, I think, patted my shoulder. "It's okay, sweetheart. Not everyone's cut out for the fast lane." Dad nodded, gave me this condescending look. "She'll figure it out eventually," he said. "Or she won't." I set my plate down on the nearest table, got in my car, and left. No one texted me, no one called, not one person asked if I was okay. A week later, my phone rang. Dad's name on the screen. He never called me. Ever. I answered, hopeful. Stupid. I know. "Hey, Soph," he said. "I need a favor." Not, "How are you?" Not, "Sorry about the barbecue." A favor. "What's up?" I said. "A buddy of mine is starting a business, needs a logo, maybe a website. I told him you could whip something up." I paused. "Dad, that's literally what I do professionally. I'd need to charge." He cut me off. "Come on, Sophia. It's a family friend. You're not that busy. Just whip something up." "I am busy," I said carefully. "I have clients, rates, a process." He sighed, loud, annoyed. "This is why people don't take you seriously," he said. "You nickel and dime everyone. Forget it. I'll find someone real." He hung up. I sat there staring at my phone. Then I opened my laptop, looked at my portfolio, my client list, my invoices, all from people who respected my work, who paid me what I was worth. The anger I'd been holding back hardened into something colder. Resolve. What Dad didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I'd been building something real. For the past 2 years, my freelance design business had quietly exploded. I had retainer clients, recurring income, a reputation in my niche. I lived in a small apartment, drove that beat-up car, wore simple clothes, not because I had to, because I was saving. Every month, I moved half my income into a separate account. I had a goal, a very specific one. When I was 10, Dad took me to a car show. We walked through rows of classics, muscle cars, vintage gems. Then he stopped, right in front of a 1967 Shelby Mustang GT500. Iconic blue with white racing stripes. He stared at it like a kid in a candy store. "That's the dream, Soph," he said softly. "That's the one." I remembered that moment. Years later, when my business started taking off, I started tracking auctions, watching listings, learning the market. 6 months ago, I found one. Pristine condition, matching numbers, the exact same blue. I didn't buy it right away. I waited, saved more, negotiated. 2 weeks after the barbecue, the deal closed. I owned it, and I realized something. I didn't buy it to give to him. I bought it to show him exactly what he'd underestimated. My best friend Jenna came over the night after the barbecue. She's a lawyer. Sharp. No nonsense. She'd watched my family treat me like this for years. She brought wine. "You're not seriously still trying to win his approval, are you?" she said, pouring 2 glasses. I told her I was tired, hurt, done trying. "Good," Jenna said. "Then let's make this count." She sat forward. "They don't respect humility, Soph. They respect results. So show them." "I don't want to brag," I said. "It's not bragging," she said. "It's stopping yourself from shrinking to make them comfortable." I thought about that. Meanwhile, the family group chat blew up. My brother posted a photo of a new watch. Something ridiculous and expensive. Dad reacted with a thumbs-up emoji. "Now that's success," he wrote. I muted the chat. A week later, Mom texted me. "Your brother's throwing a dinner for your dad's birthday. You're welcome to come, but don't make a scene." I stared at the message. Don't make a scene. Like I was the problem. I didn't reply right away. I was standing in the garage where I'd stored the Mustang. I ran my hand over the hood. Smooth, cold, perfect. I smiled. Then I texted back, "I'll be there, and I'm bringing a gift." Jenna helped me plan it. The night before the dinner, I barely slept. Not because I was nervous, because I was ready. For years, I wanted him to see me. Now, he was about to, whether he liked it or not. I arrived at the restaurant alone. Private room in the back. Nice place. White tablecloths. Dim lighting. The whole family was there. Mom, Dad, my brother. A few aunts and uncles. Dad was in a great mood. My brother had given him a bottle of expensive whiskey. Dad held it up like a trophy. "Now this is thoughtful," he said, grinning. "Not some handmade nonsense." A jab at a card I'd made him when I was 12. I sat down quietly, smiled, ordered water, waited. After cake, I stood up. "Dad," I said, "I got you something too." He looked surprised, almost suspicious. I pulled an envelope out of my bag, handed it to him. He opened it slowly. Inside, a keychain with the Shelby Mustang logo and a printed photo of the car. He stared at it, confused. "What is this?" he asked. "It's the 1967 Shelby Mustang GT500, I said. "The one you showed me when I was 10. The one you called the Dream." His face changed. Recognition. Nostalgia. "Yeah," he said slowly. "I remember. Why are you showing me a picture?" I took a breath. "Because I bought it." Silence. My brother's head snapped up. "Wait, what?" "2 weeks ago," I said. "Paid in full. It's mine." Dad laughed. Uncomfortable. Nervous. "Come on, Sophia. Those go for 6 figures. You can't." "I can," I said. And I did. I pulled out my phone, showed him the title, my name on it. Then a photo of me standing next to the car in the garage. Dad's face drained of color. "How did you... the little computer drawings you made fun of?" I said. My voice was calm, steady. "I've been running a 6-figure design business for 2 years. I have retainer clients, a wait list. I bought that car outright, Dad. No loans, no help." My brother's mouth hung open. Mom looked stunned. I leaned forward slightly. "You told me I'd never figure it out. That I wasn't serious. That I was a failure." Dad tried to speak. I kept going. "But I did figure it out. I just stopped waiting for you to notice. He tried to recover. I never said, "You did," I said. In the driveway, in front of everyone. He had no response. I picked up my bag. "I didn't come here to embarrass you," I said. "I came to show you what you missed while you were too busy laughing." I walked toward the door, stopped, turned back. "Oh, and Dad? I'm keeping the car." I walked out. I drove home in my failure mobile, windows down, music loud, smiling for the first time in weeks. My phone buzzed. Texts started rolling in. "Mom, we need to talk." An aunt. "Is this true?" My brother. "Why didn't you tell us?" I didn't answer. A few days later, Dad called. I let it ring once, twice, 3 times. Finally, I answered. "Sophia," he said. His voice was quiet. "I didn't know." "You didn't ask," I said. Long pause. I'm proud of you." It was what I'd wanted to hear for years. "But now?" "Thanks, Dad," I said. "But I don't need you to be proud anymore. I'm proud of me." I hung up. Not angry, just free. For the first time, his silence didn't hurt me. It freed me. I kept building my business. Stopped going to every family event. Started showing up on my terms. The Mustang stays in my garage. I take it out on weekends. Drive it with the windows down and the engine roaring. Not to show off. Just because it's mine. And every time I get behind the wheel, I remember something. I didn't need his approval to succeed. I just needed to believe in myself. If this story hit you, I need you to do something for me. Hit that subscribe button. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I read every single one. Have you ever had to prove yourself to someone who doubted you? Maybe a parent, a boss, a friend? Drop your story below. You're not alone, and your story matters. I'll be back next week with another one. Until then, remember, you don't need anyone's permission to be successful. You just need to keep going. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.